All right, how to weigh your hives. There's a high-tech way, there's a medium-tech way, there's a low-tech way, and there's a lower-tech way. And but you should always consider frame balance. So one method is to come up to your hive, come to the back of the hive generally, not the front, and you grab it and you lift. Oh, well, I know what's going on. I know how heavy it is. Or I could use this handy dandy scale, or I could use a brood minder. Please remember, the bees in this particular frame, that's all honey. That's all empty. When I grabbed this frame in the middle, it went like this. So if I had to grab it almost just a quarter way over before it balanced, which means that had a real heavy back weight on it. So consider that when you are doing grabbing your weights. Next slide, please. All right, so the high-tech methods. Broodminder, we have Broodminder in the club. It's pretty good. I use it in my own apiary. It provides a lot of good information, but Broodminder, the regular Broodminder has a scale that you put on the back of the hive. You set the hive on top of it. You're weighing half of the hive, so then you double the weight. But as we'll talk about here, that may not give you, as we just said, it may not give you the right answer. But that may not be a problem. That may be just fine. There's also Beehive Monitoring. It's an EU-based company. There's Solution Bee. Hive Genie, we have one of those, but it doesn't work right. And I talked to them actually 2 days ago. They said our product is on hold because of production issues. And we found one of those production issues. Their hive monitors leak and water gets inside and the electronics go after about 2 weeks. So they got a problem. Arnia seems to be out of business. They're UK and Italy based. And then you've got openhivescale.org, and you've got a whole bunch of homebrew, using a little Raspberry Pi or some kind of a little computer and you can do all of that. That's how I started, was with a homebrew system. It was a pain in the behind. So anyway, medium tech. So here's a medium tech solution. It's just a luggage scale or a fish scale. All right, can you lift a whole 110-pound hive? I can't. Someone here might be able to, but do you need to weigh the whole thing, or do you just need to weigh the back of it? You can use a little lower tech using the mechanical scale. I will say one thing: it's a lot harder to do the scales like this one. I like this one because as you're lifting it, you can see the number. With this and with that, you're lifting it, and then you have to lean over to look at the number, and that's kind of not helpful. Some of these have a hold function. You have to read the book and know which button to push, and it'll press hold, and then you look at it and, oh yeah, fine, okay, 22 pounds, whatever. So if your box doesn't have handles, you could go to the bottom of the hive and hook it right there on the bottom board and lift. Or if you have handles, you can put it right on the handle. So this is another note: is consider drilling a vertical hole right into the handle, and it doesn't have to be much. I mean, a 1/4 inch is enough for that hook to catch on the actual hive body. And then when you do your lift, you'll get it won't slip off. You don't piss off your bees because you dropped them. You just kind of lift, you get your weight, and off you go. Well, yeah, but I was showing you so that you could see it, but I would go to the very bottom hive body and lift from the bottom to get the whole hive width. Because you're right, maybe you weighed it after you inspected, which means your propolis has already been broken, right? So you have to think about these considerations. You should be strapping your hives anyway, but if you're inspecting, you may not have put the strap back on, because that's my last step. That tells me that I've actually written down the information about the hive. If it's strapped, I've written it down. I've filled out my data. If it's unstrapped, oh, I haven't done that yet. So that's kind of my shortcut, make habits of your own. So whoever wins this, just so that you know, it's already opened up and out of the plastic. So I do like you can get them. I think they come with a strap that will go around a luggage handle, because these are luggage scales as well. I think they do. You just have to know which button to push, like a memory button. Yeah, exactly. So, all right, next slide, please. And then here's the low tech. Lift from the front, lift from the back. Even the lower tech just lift one side. The problem is, how much does that weigh?
Really, buddy? Okay.
Yeah. Okay. Did you remember which hive that was really light? Did you write it down?
No.
And there you go. So you think that was the light one, but it was really the next one over. And if you've got 7 hives in a row, which was which? So yeah. What you'll notice on the backs of my hives, that's actually a queen marking pen, and it tells me on that date there's a green queen. I see a queen cell, and I can't quite read what that says. I go even further than that. All the backs of my hives are painted white, and I just use a Sharpie or a queen marking pen, whatever I happen to have in my pocket. So that seems to work pretty well. Does it matter how much your hive weighs? Yes, it does, but no, it doesn't at the same time. The more important thing to know is, what was the delta? What was the change? Is it heavier this week than it was last week? That's much more important than getting an accurate scale. I weigh from the front and it said it was 22 pounds. The next week it says it's 30 pounds. Well, that's coming up in weight. If I check it that next week and it says it's down by 4 or 5 pounds, it's time to really start feeding. So you're looking at the change. At the very least, you're looking for the change in the weight. Would it be good to know what the weight of the hive is? Absolutely. Donna. I'm sorry? Every time I inspect. Okay. Every time I inspect is during the season is every 7 days. Now I'm starting to slow it down. I'm sorry, hold on.
I said Mark is a tech data guy.
Mark is a tech data guy. I'm really not a good data guy. I'm a tech guy. I'm a bee geek. Donna, what was your question? During the spring and summer, I'm absolutely weighing every 7 days. 16. So it's not 60, but it's not 2. Yeah. On 3 apiaries. My opinion, ask 3 beekeepers, right? Ask 3 beekeepers. Exact weight is only important for research. Exact weight is critically important for me as a backyard beekeeper for every hive I've got. Weight is only important. So yeah, you've got all these different opinions. My opinion is, if you're doing research, you're trying to come up with some concepts or ideas, that's when the exact weights are important. By the way, Broodminder does have, and we as a club own, one of the full hive weight scales that you put underneath the hive, and it weighs the whole thing in real time. Chris?
When you're doing your inspections, you're taking the supers off. So doesn't that give you an idea on what you have weight-wise? How many supers you have, what you're going to need?
Yes.
So, do you really have to weigh the entire hive? Or is it more important just to look at the supers and make sure your income? You can look at the supers and look at the cells and say, hey, I see nectar coming in.
Right.
Last time this was only a quarter cap. Now it's half cap.
Right.
Right.
Yeah, it'll tell you that. Now,
Your experience versus valuable, but everyone's.
Yeah. After a while, you get to the point where you're going, that if you're constantly lifting a box and you're weighing it, okay, that's 25 pounds. I bet you within a few months, if not a year, you're going to go, that's 32 pounds. that's 37 pounds. That you get to learn that. But the consistency is also important. It's not just